Hi, and welcome back to round 2 in our mini-series Social Media for Beginners. My name is Charlotte, and I work in our Neu-Isenburg office in Germany. In part 1, we talked about the possibility of setting up a blog as a social media hub for your business. Well, here in this webinar, we're going to recommend setting up that blog as a perfect central address where you can conduct all your online business from and link up, attract, generate, capture a whole load of new online customers and visitors. Now, this is probably going to be the longest webinar in the series, but it is broken up into 3 parts so that you can dip in and out or fast forward to the bits that are interesting for you whenever you please. We're going to explain blogging in 3 parts. Part 1, what is a blog and why do I need one? 2, how to set up a blog and some technicalities to watch out for. And 3, content ideas and best practices collected from our experiences and those of our demonstrators. So let's start and dive in from the very beginning. What is a blog? Well, a blog is a type of website, except that a blog is less formal and static than a website. Websites are generally organized in pages with tabs and are not updated frequently, whereas a blog is dynamic and it refreshes its contents on a very regular basis and presents its content in reverse chronological order, meaning that the newest content always appears first. It's very informal, it's very visual, chatty, casual, as well as being instructional and informative. So confusingly, blogs can also be part of a larger website too, and more often than not nowadays, businesses will have a blog section on their websites where they regularly create and update new content to inform and educate their customers, as well as having their static information pages. Or they have embedded links to click on that will lead or link up to corporate or personal blogs, just like we do to Shelley and Sarah's. A blog is a place where you can connect casually with your audience, where you can directly communicate and interact with potential new customers. You can build lasting relationships with literally strangers. And through your posts, you can show your personality and your skills. Your business and products will almost become secondary. And it's a place where readers can relate and interact with you and your content too. It's a place where you can tell your visual stories. Remember what we said in part 1 of this series about visual stories? Well, your topics could include, we'd hope, lots and lots of things and visuals about Stampin' Up and Stampin' Up's product. Things about your independent business. Well, what's it all about? And keep at the back of your mind, why would a reader want to do business with you? What's your unique selling point? Why do you love doing what you're doing? And why do you do what you do? Always remember to mention your business details and your contact details and link up to the online store too. Remember, rule number 1 is we want to convert these visitors into customers. You can also talk about you and your experiences, who you are personally, yet still professionally. Remember the explanation we gave you about you. People will return to your blog because of you eventually, as well as for your product pictures and ideas. Statically, you could always have an About You page section on your blog, which, by the way, should always carry a photograph of you, good or bad, because there's nothing worse than getting all excited about a blog and not knowing visually who the talent is behind it. And then now and then you could give in a few insights about your craft space or your preferred styles of crafting, chat about your interests, a little bit about your other hobbies maybe, but you've got to keep those secondary. Share what you personally find fascinating and interesting and exciting about Stampin' Up and their products. There's always going to be so much to say about your business, and a blog can portray that for you in a fun, uncondescending way. And that's pretty much what makes a blog special. It's special in the sense that it can create change in the people that read it. It builds up their curiosities, answers their questions, keeps their interest peaked, challenges them, engages them, and entertains them like no other platform out there. And it will always be topically relevant and meaningful, and kept topically close to your latest products and services. And hopefully through all that, will encourage visitors to return. Yes, you need a blog. So what actually are the requirements for running a blog? Well, if you mean skills, that's easy. Actually none. Nothing you don't have already. Just the ability to write simple sentences and the want to share your ideas and experiences with the world. Now, if you're wondering about how your content is going to stand out from the crowd, it's actually going to be through you as a person. Your site has to reflect you and your unique way of being, because the actual product offering itself is going to be pretty much the same across all other Stampin' Up affiliated blogs. And it's you who's going to make it original and attractive for your audience. Posts should always provide purpose and value to your readers. People don't go to blogs for basic product information. They come to our website for that. They go to you for more information, more inspiration, and those personal recommendations and those services that they find encourageable, valuable, and useful, the ones that will influence them to purchase from you. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's why you need one and that's why you want one. So how about we now go and get one? Part 2, setting up your blog, what I like to call the technical stuff. Now, before I start, as you might already know, Stampin' Up currently provides their own blog service called Demonstrator Business Web Services, or better known as DBWS. But there's actually a new revamped, updated version of it in the pipeline, launching this year in June 2019. So I won't be going into too much detail about the current platform here. That being said, the new DBWS will link up to external blog services, of which there are many to choose from. So to follow, we're going to highlight some of the basics one needs to know about blogging in general. Of course, if you'd like to know more about DBWS in general, go to the Demonstrator website and under Business Resources, click into Manage My DBWS to find out some more information. It currently looks like this, but note that the actual content and the details about it now will be subject to change imminently when the new one comes out. So back to setting up a blog. Well, externally, there are so many things to consider when choosing your own blog provider. As I said, we'll try and list the basics and the best practices, but ultimately the detailed research needs to be done by you independently of what is explained and or written here in this webinar. So please note, we can only cover the basic steps. Our advice is going to be very high level, very generalized, as every person, every country will have their differences, preferences, and regulations, and we naturally can't cover everything. So here's our official notice in English, German, and French too. Feel free to go back and read the details, but basically it says, everything to follow is a general overview and not an endorsement. We won't cover legal matters. This is not a technical training. You are responsible for complying with your own rules and policies. And this webinar is for training purposes only. So let's start with the groundwork. I'm going to quickly rewind and repeat a couple of points that we covered and talked about in part 1 of this series. Setting up a blog will require you to think up and set up a domain name. Now remember, this is the address that you type in whenever you want to visit a site. For example, www.stampinup.com. This address will make your site accessible around the world. You're going to pick out a name for it. Now remember, keep it short, simple, uncomplicated, and memorable, and choose a couple of alternatives for it as a reserve. Then you get to pick a domain extension. These are your .name. .com is most popular and memorable, followed by .net. You can also choose a country extension too, .de, .fr, .co.uk, etc., which are the more favorite extensions in Europe, for an example. Then you're going to check for the name's availability. Your host provider will most likely tell you if your chosen name is still available or not, but there's also a bunch of independent domain name checkers to be found on the web too. Some hosts will include a customized email address for you too, so have that name in mind as well beforehand. It'll be advisable and actually more memorable if you do include your brand name in or as part of the email address. If you're feeling creative and in the mood, you can think up a cool meta description for your blog too. This is the short text summarizing what your site is all about on a results page. Don't type in more than 160 characters or it'll cut you off and your readers won't be able to read your summary in one glance, or they'll just have to open up the whole link. So here's an example of ours. All in one glance, you can tell that we've been paper crafting since 1988. Yay! So now for the nitty-gritty. Selecting a blog platform and a host provider. Again, you need to do your own research here, and pre-warning, there'll probably be quite a bit of it. And you can probably shortcut it all by first asking for recommendations from your team leader and your team members, friends, families. If they're already blogging too, for sure they'll be able to help you out, or at least share their best practice tips, and pretty instantly too. So blogs. Well, I thought it would be useful for the beginners out there to know from the onset that a blog is, or a blog platform, is simply just a type of software. It's a content management system, which is a fancy term for what it says, a management system for all your content. This system or software is going to include all those pretty templates and layouts, fonts and formats, forms, buttons, links, everything that will make your site look pretty and functional, the framework, so to say. There are many choices of software solutions out there which allow you to just concentrate on just creating and posting great content. The term blogging, by the way, is exactly the verb for doing just that, adding your text and visuals. Generally, you can simply pick a template, pick and choose a few preferred options, and in the click of a button, it'll all be set up and ready to go, ready for you just to add your content. And the term blog content, by the way, can also be referred to as blog entries or blog posts as well. So, in a nutshell, nowadays, you shouldn't need any computer programming skills or designing skills. It'll all be templated and mapped out for you. And the most common blog services will literally walk you through a setup systematically, step by step. And once it's done, it's done. And the fun starts with getting those pages filled. Now, the good news is that most blog platforms are offered for free when you hire or purchase a blog package from a service provider. Oh yeah, what's a service provider? Well, a hosting or a service provider is a place or a company, it's a service that stores your site and its content on the internet for others to see. There are many companies out there that offer free and or paid for services for publishing and hosting your blog. For an example, Stampin Up's DBWS, WordPress, Blogger, Tumblr, etc. So you'll need to do your research to find the best one that fits your needs and your budget. But generally, you can expect that there'll always be some basic fee for hosting and storing a site and its contents. It's usually a small fee payable per year, so choose a hosting plan that will be financially sustainable for the long run. A blog is not intended to be a week-long only project. It's intended to be quite a long-term commitment. Now, a hosting provider will usually offer a bunch of hosting plans, usually starting from basic services to Prime, Plus, or professional ones. They all call them different things. And again, there's quite a bit of comparison research to do here. The differences will be prices and plans. There'll usually be things like the amount of storage space offered, the inclusion of domain names, email addresses, email storage, bandwidth, support packages, etc. And providers can generally offer a bunch of other extras too. These are usually at an extra cost, like privacy backups, jump starts, extra security. But just watch out for these. For a startup, you probably won't need any extras to get you up and running on a basic blog. But try and familiarize yourself with the jargon and some of these common details, because you're going to need to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I need? What are they offering me? So for an example, to name a few basic few, we have data storage volume, which is a fancy word for space. Some of these sites have limits on how much you can save to your blog in terms of content. Many offers start from around 50 gigabytes, while some are unlimited. You'll need to check if you can increase that volume if necessary. Do they have storage solutions? Like, do they store your data to the cloud and complicated things like that? Then there is bandwidth. Well, this is just a fancy word for speed. Everyone wants instant and fast access to content and don't need to think about whether to brew a cup of coffee while waiting for your photos to upload. So the more of this stuff, the merrier. Security offers are a good one. Are automated backups included? Do they provide security against spywares, malwares, ransomwares? Yeah, what? Did you know that it's possible to actually hijack a blog and a website and demand money from you to get it back? Well, now it's highly unlikely that they'd be interested in any of us, but that's what ransomware is for. It's hijack protection. And malware literally stands out for malicious software. And it's a collective word for all those nasty things like computer viruses, worms, Trojans, things that you just don't want to have attack your site or computer. So protection from that junk is a good thing too. Spyware is a good one. Spyware is designed to collect information and data on users and observe your activity without the user's knowledge. So you probably won't even know it's happening anyway. So there's all kinds of scary stuff that we don't want to have or know about, and we generally won't have to worry about it if your web host provides a preferably unlimited SSL certificate. Now this stands for Secure Sockets Layer, which is basically a huge wall built between you and your blog and the bad guys. It's a basic guarantee that you'll have a secure website or a secure blog, and all your transactions will also be secure and protected. So look out for one of those. And if you're wondering if Stampin' Up's DBWS has one, yes, it does. All good. Support packages. For an example, does the provider provide instant help with their services? Can you call them? Can you write to an expert and get your problems sorted out, preferably within the hour, within the minute? Compatibility and automated upgrades. Woo. Do you and your viewers have easy accessibility from your site to, say, tablets and mobile devices too? Is your software upgraded often and for free? And last but not least, simplicity. Is it user-friendly and clear? Check that they guarantee easy setup with assistance, whether they have tutorials. Are their pages easy to navigate and upload with content and links? Can you edit them? That's pretty scary. Do they provide free and compatible plugins? I love this word. What in the world is a plugin, you ask? Well, here are 3 more useful definitions that you will definitely come across time and time again in this blogging world. And one of them is plugins. These are like little apps for smartphones, paid for or for free. They're useful little tools that will help optimize and enhance your blog's experience and help you manage your content. Let me give you an example or 2. Types of plugins there'll be ones for social media links and buttons. These are invaluable shortcuts to your Facebook page or Instagram, wherever. Ones that guarantee SEO improvements. Well, we'll get to those in a little bit. But basically, these are things to make your blog address appear higher in a search engine ranking. You can get plugins for speed improvements, making your blog faster. As I said, lots of photographs and videos could slow the process down, for an example. You can upload different forms, different types of forms, like comment fields or contact forms. Then you can bump up your securities against junk and spam. Then you can get ones for scheduling posts and calendars and planners. And a fun one for blog analytics that will collect and analyze all kinds of useful information for you, like tracking your readers, number of clicks, popular topics, number of shares, their genders, locations, so you can get to know your audience and what they like and what they want, all on a sort of a dashboard, and it's really fun to figure all that stuff out. Now, here is the biggie. Search engine optimization. Now, this is a word or abbreviation that you will see time and time again, and it's important. It's super complicated, but basically, it's a methodology of strategies and techniques and tactics used to increase the amount of visitors to a website by obtaining a high-ranking placement in the search results page of a search engine. What's a search engine? Or a SERP? Well, a search engine results page is basically the techie term for platforms like Google, Bing, or Yahoo. Now, your ranking on a search or a results page, in part, is determined by these search engines detecting and analyzing specific and relevant keywords or metadata. They're also known as metatags, and they're all the same thing, by the way. Hidden amongst all your other data, all your text, your titles, your headers, your contents, everything on your web pages and blogs and from other social media platforms. And it's the detection of these keywords that will boost your, let's say, Google search rankings for better visibility and direction to your site when someone types in a search word. Now, there are a gazillion factors, I don't have no clue how many, but an awful lot, needed to make your site pop up as first choice in a response to a specific search. Next to the obvious specific keyword search, search engines also analyze your traffic patterns, meaning the more fresh content, movement, actions, comments you have on your pages, including links and visits to and from other sites, well, traffic basically, or your popularity, the better you will feature on these search rankings. So the use of SEOs is a complicated science, and for the beginner blogger, you do have the time to research this, all the ins and outs, at a much later date. For now, just look out for the possibility on your blog site that you can add in a few of these meta tags or keyword to your post for the search engines to detect. And most blogging platforms will have fields to include a bunch of these tags. So importantly, what's in a tag? You'd want to include words like Stampin Up and some of the individual names of the products or techniques that you're promoting, which is what most searchers will probably search for or Google first before stumbling across you. But also try and include some generic terms too, adding the words like paper crafting or Christmas gift wrapping. Think ahead, what would someone, a non-Stampin Up affiliated person, be searching for before stumbling across you or Stampin Up for the first time? And there you have your words. And the third biggie is RSS feeds. Well, these are super useful dudes. RSS stands for really simple syndication or rich site summary. Summary is what you need to remember. This is a fun tool to inform people or subscribers that your blog has been updated with new content without them having to visit your website. So if you don't post information regularly, this might be a really cute tool for you to offer. How does it work? Well, if you follow lots of websites or blogs, it can become inconvenient and time-consuming to regularly go back and visit each individual blog separately to check in, to see if they've got any new posts, or to read or figure out yourself what's been updated, and so on. And an RSS feeder works by grabbing all of the latest content from each blog that you have subscribed to and displaying it in a summary form in a single location of your preferred choice, like you want it via email or SMS, for an example. An RSS feed, or these notification messages, will often only display headlines or a preview of the contents, or even just send you a little link to the actual site and not feature the whole article. It's a summary. But it's still useful since it provides constant updates to the readers in an inconspicuous, non-overwhelming manner. Now, this collected, updated information can be forwarded to your visitors or customers via an email address, a mobile device, informing the subscriber every time that new content is posted. Of course, they can easily just as easily opt out of the service too if it gets seriously annoying, but it won't, because your content is going to be original and fun and engaging. Readers can subscribe to your site via their own favorite RSS feed reader, or you can install one yourself on your blog for them to click on. An RSS feed is sometimes disguised as the common subscribe button. So most, if not all nowadays, good blog providers will provide an icon for you and your visitors to add to your site. So, are you guys still with me? Are you all brain fried yet? Let's take a moment to summarize this part. So once you've done your research and found your plan, really all you need to do is to register with your preferred provider and literally follow the site's setup instructions. Once you've gone ahead and set it all up, it's literally done. Maybe you'll need to tweak here and there down the line, add in a plugin or two later. But basically, once it's done and up and running and ready for you to fill the platform with your content. So let's pretend you're now the proud owner of a blog platform. Yay, we're gonna celebrate. Anyway, now comes the fun stuff, or rather, let's now focus on the content of your blog. So, part 3, content focus. What shall I write and post? Well, the good news is there's no magic formula. Content will purely depend on your niche and your passion. This is your blog. For each post, remind yourself of your goal. Give it a little thought into what exactly are you trying to achieve with each post. Is it a sale? Perhaps you want people to purchase something from you. Do you want recognition? Are you giving instruction or providing solutions to a customer's questions and problems? It could be all of those. Here are some other key things to also keep in mind and ponder on in no particular order. Visualization. Wherever possible, try to add a visual, a graphic, a picture, a photo to accompany your writing to make your post more attractive and eye-catching. Make good use of those keywords, use catchy titles, keep those attention-grabbing SEOs occupied with relevant content. Usefulness. Ask yourself now and then, what will people learn or take away from this post? Have I taught them anything? Have I asked them to do something? Readability. Keep text short, fun, and light. Don't use too much Stampin' Up jargon, or if you need to, at least spell something out at least once. For an example, explain what DSP or SAB or snail means. Links. Don't add too many of these in a single post, but remember, do try to link up to or refer to your other social media platforms and vice versa often. And if you are, just make sure those links are working. Make your content provide answers. Most strangers, as we said earlier, will stumble on your blog through a search engine. So what do you think they were looking for and why? And importantly, always try to provide a call to action. So think about this. Statistically, 98% of visitors to any blog or website will leave without performing an action. That could be purchasing, commenting, liking, whatever. And that's what you want, the interaction. That's fundamentally what blogging and social media is all about. It's the interaction with your readers, and it's good for those search engines. So what can you do to stimulate engagement on your page, site, blog? You can always imply, visitors need this product. You have to buy it. Coax and charm people with previews and teasers to come back and check in another time or soon. Come back next week to find out this. Let everyone know often that they can order something through you. That is your business. Don't forget the link to the shop. Excuse me. Remind people that if they do shop with you, they will benefit from it. Dangle that carrot. Mention to visitors that they could earn host rewards or automatically become part of a club that you're holding. Everyone loves a bargain. Use our promotions, our Stampin' Up promotions, to stir up a reaction. Promotions nearly always provide a purchase urgency. So does anything with a limited time offer, by the way. So they generate feedback and reactions really, really quickly. Call out regularly to subscribe to your site or sign up for a newsletter. Tell everyone to simply leave a comment and never, ever be discouraged by a thoughtless or a hurtful one. What do they say? There's one at every party. Always take negativity with a pinch of salt. Water off a duck's back. So I'm pretty sure you can think up another half a dozen action or interaction items to add to that list too. Yeah, sit back, think about it. What can you do to provide engagement? Now, what happens if there isn't any visible action or reaction to your site at first? Well, how would you know that your blog is even successful? Well, don't panic. You're doing nothing wrong. Unless, of course, you forget to post anything, maybe. Patience. 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 Only time will tell. Rome wasn't made in a day. You are not going to become a viral blogger overnight. If you want, you can physically measure your success by using your site's analytical tools. We talked about these little plugins earlier. You could use Kissmetrics, Google Analytics, or specialized plugins. And these applications help measure the traffic and will break collected information down into categories for you, such as pointing out which posts and videos, articles were more read, liked, watched than others, for an example. And so once you know that, you know what to do more of or not to do more of. And then simply ask, survey readers. Ask what they want to see and read. Set up a poll or link up to an online survey or simply allow comments, to which, by the way, you should always respond nicely, even to the stupid ones. And then SEO enhances with movement and traffic. So if you find yourself slowly moving up the search ranks, you're going to be doing something right. But remember, none of this happens overnight. A blog takes work. It takes dedication. Just get started, build and trust the power of habit. It's a bit like going to the gym, no pain, no gain, except for it's way less painful. Be consistent. Regularly post fresh, new, fun, engaging content. Keep it ticking over. Your posting frequency will depend on the amount of time that you have to dedicate to this project, this new line of your business. Just post regularly and try not to neglect your sites. So we'll be covering frequency in a little bit. Think. Invest in the time means you're investing in your business. It's going to be totally worth it. So, you tipped out yet? Need a little bit more inspiration, bit more persuasion? Well, first, you don't need to be a professional writer to blog. You just need to be you. If your post makes you happy and you are enthusiastic about a product, people will feel that through your words and enthusiasm. Write positively. Everything you write is essentially promoting your business. There is no need to be anything but positive about it. Keep your writing style casual and light. Remember the etiquette rules. Have a good spell check though. Remember to put the exclamation mark after the up in Stampin' Up. Silly little things like that are important. Length, it really doesn't matter. Some things take longer to explain or write about. Whatever keeps the best quality and experience for your readers. It just needs to stay on topic. However, saying that, try to keep the majority of the posts, including videos, in under 4 to 5 minutes tops to read. I'll tell you why. Most people want instant gratification nowadays and are most likely to scan a text for the good bits more than actually read it. And last on this, accessorize. Ideas for blog posts can literally pop out of nowhere while you're driving, cooking, or even taking the dog out. Carry a teeny tiny notebook and pen around with you at all times, or you can use your phone for notes too, so you're ready to jot that down when inspiration strikes. Of course, not while you're driving, after you've parked. So yeah, you don't need to be a good photographer either, but using visuals will be a great, I'm underlining this, great asset. In fact, I need to say that this is a must. In our line of work, many visitors will just look at the visual to determine if they want to read the text or not. I know I do. As Sam Hammond, a very successful Stampin' Up demonstrator blogger from the UK, says, it's all about the pictures. You don't need to set up a fancy photo shoot with props, nor do you have the time to either. 1 to 2 fabulous, crisp, clean photos on a white background, taken with a smartphone in great lighting, will suffice. And I totally agree, because here are some of her examples. Sam recommends taking a photo of a complete project followed by another that shows more attention to detail. Or on a 3D project, feature the full project picture followed by an action picture that gives more of an insight as to what this project actually does or how clever it is. And this helps draw attention to detail and piques enough curiosity to linger on that page and read the article or the instructions and maybe even interact with you. Content planning. Content planning helps tons. Where do you want your blog to be in a few months, in a few years? Well, still up, running and dynamic, I hope. With blogs, you need to think into the long term. I said before, a blog is not for a week or a month only. Statistically, people who fail at blogging actually do so because they don't have a plan and they flounder. So we very much recommend you to plan ahead. So we're going to say, think about using a content calendar. Well, yeah, why? Well, peace of mind. It helps to avoid last-minute rushes to post something, anything. You can see the bigger picture, meaning it'll give you a good overview of what you're presenting to the public and make sure that you're not being repetitive. You can use it as a personal tracking system. Have I done this before? When can I repeat it if it was successful? If you do use a calendar, think about scheduling a regular day for writing and planning posts separate to each other, because this is going to help with habit forming, and then they'll become second nature one day. Posts can be conveniently scheduled. You can write and schedule them well ahead of time to fit around your lifestyle and have them upload automatically on a time and a date that will suit you. Working with a content calendar and scheduling posts means that you can plan and keep your blog running even while you're on a jungle trek somewhere in the depths of South America, if you wanted to. Information and how-tos about setting up and filing blog content calendars and filling blog content calendars can be easily found online. There's so many different ones. So it's not so easy nailing the perfect planner straight off the bat. It will involve quite a bit of experimentation and tweaking until you find one that's easy and suits and works for you. Keep it simple. You're going to want to vary your content because you want to maximize the different interests your readers will have. So think about using the sly use of categories or themes to help you plan, fill, and vary your content. Haha, what's a category, you may ask? Well, a category or a theme will help you break down your post choices into easy, bite-sized pieces. For an example, a category could be creative projects. Posting a variation of projects is a good thing. A mix of cards, scrapbooking, 3D stuff, meaning boxes, frames, paper flowers, whatever. Enlarged because you're catering for an unknown audience. You don't know what they're going to like. So keep them quite varied so you can capture them all. Techniques, oh, this is such a good one. These types of posts are super popular. They, like for an example, showing people how to stamp, what's two-step stamping, embossing, watercoloring. Loads of people are fascinated about how-to videos, and especially artistic ones. You can organize color challenges for a bit of interaction. For those who like experimenting with color, get them to play with our colors, the in colors, the color families, challenge them to a 3+ white challenge. Because challenges are always really, really good to bring feedback to your posts. And they link up to everyone else's as well. You can cover specific products, or 2 or 3, promote a particular bundle or a single item, show 3 ways with shimmer paint, or 1 stamp set in 3 styles. Think about seasonal posts. Actually, this is almost a must too. A lot of hobbyists online will be looking for inspiration to create something special for an occasion. That's how they start out, really. Like a holiday, like Christmas or Easter or Father's Day. So seasonal editions are really, really good. Then definitely cover our catalog and product launches, and of course the Stampin' Up promotions. We have celebration, 2 seasonal catalogs, an annual, several out of publications, Stampin' Up promotions 3-4 times a year. And the work involved for advertising one of these is so easy because you just need to copy and paste our ads from the toolkits that we provide you, and the marketing's all done. Toolkit, what's that? Well, here's an example of a marketing toolkit. This is what it looks like. You'll find them under the Demonstrator website, under Happening Now, and then under Current Promotions. And then you'll just click on a promotion or one of these banners. Just an example, let's choose Celebration 2019. It's over, but no worries about that. Just an example. And when you click on that, it will open up into a bunch of downloadable shareables, videos, trainings, visuals, everything that you need, and can just copy paste and get sharing. So that's really cool. There's the possibility of sharing or promoting recruiting. Talk about your team, how to become a demonstrator, the advantages, and just a general call out to join your team. Me and mine, something about you. Now, as I right on early on, I said it could be about your craft room, it could be about you, your favorite bakes, your dog, your cat, home decorating, whatever. Just be careful always to include some relation or tie back into Stampin' Up, though. This is a business blog. You can get personal, but stay on topic. And thinking of topics, your favorite topics. Anything that you're passionate about really will shine through your words. It could be your trademark feature, perhaps. Keep those coming. Now, all these suggestions are only a drop in the bucket of an infinite amount of categories or themes that you could think up. So spend some time thinking about what you would do. Literally, whatever you want, whatever you think will interest and engage your readers and viewers, and what is fun to do. You have to be engaged as well in this. So as a bit of a recap, to any post, to most posts, consider a fun, easy to read and understand promotional text. A good photo or two. Maybe offer some instructions, especially for 3D projects. This could be a separate link to somewhere else on your blog, to previous posts perhaps. Definitely include a list of materials and products used if you're describing a project you've made. And definitely add that link or reference to your shop. Remember, we're always converting visitors to customers. Now that is a must. And how often should we do all this? This is the million-dollar question, the frequency of posting. Well, yeah, basically ask yourself, what is manageable? Well, first and foremost, you get to determine that. There is only one golden rule that we can come up with, and that is be consistent. Consistency is king. Yeah, what is manageable? Good question. Well, here's a simpler formula to start you off thinking about what you could do and how often you could do it. So manageable might mean that you had time to post something, for an example, once a month. Now, this would mean that because there are 12 months per year, you'd consider pre-planning out 12 posts or write-ups for that whole year. And then to simplify further, you could divide up those 12 posts again into categories, themes, or topics to make the planning even easier. So here's probably a better example of what I'm trying to say. You have 12 posts to cover the whole year. Now, if you just took one favorite stamp set or project from each Stampin' Up publication as a highlight, you'd have 4 posts covered already. If one of your categories were to be seasons, you'd have dozens of instant post ideas to choose from. A Christmas special, a Valentine's special, an Easter special, one back to school special. And that's another 4 posts right there. And not forgetting a birthday special, because I'm adding birthdays to seasonal because it's a yearly thing. Yeah, Charlotte logic. Then, those how-to posts. How about adding 2 how-to technique posts? Definitely one recruiting-orientated post, definitely one get-to-know-me post, get to know all about me. And so your yearly posting schedule or calendar could then look something rather like this. So yeah, now that was an example of manageable. And I'm pretty sure that most of you can handle that quantity blindfolded. When you do feel more comfortable, more experienced, you could up your game and go for doable. Doable could be to post something every other week, every fortnight, covering 26 weeks per annum. Or how about extreme? Posting once a week, 52 weeks, meaning 52 posts to schedule. Now, don't be fooled. Seriously, once a week sounds simple enough, and it might be super tempting, but don't forget, for a novice or a hobbyist, you have to factor in your time for not only creating projects and writing about them, but also putting aside time for photography and editing and figuring out instructions and uploading graphics. And it's really quite challenging if you are, say, working full-time or have kids, dogs, and a social life on top of your Stampin' Up workshops and your other Stampin' Up business aspects. Consistency is the key, remember. So take baby steps. It's going to be much better to grow slowly and steadily than to burn out or stop completely a couple of months later. Yeah, where was I? And then there are the wild cards. So you're going to need to be a tad flexible with your postings too. You'll always need to be prepared to jump in off schedule for specials and promotions, maybe breaking news, event reports, or simply for when inspiration strikes for all your spontaneous and unscheduled posts. So these are just some of the examples and the ways that you can break down your yearly posting plannings. Anyway, we do recommend that you give it quite some thought before you embark on this blogging idea and decide on what you can commit to without disrupting your life and business completely. Just for curiosity value though, do you want to see what a Stampin' Up blogging expert schedule looks like? Well, Sam Hammond kindly shared a real example, an excerpt of one of her super busy content planning pages with us. Here you see part of her 2019 celebration plan. You'll see the products on the left, the categories. Most importantly, she plans her tags and when she's scheduling them for, or even right at the beginning again, whether she has actually scheduled them. This is so super impressive. Thanks for sharing, Sam. Organization is a good thing. So we're finally almost at the end of this. Yay, are you still with me? Thanks for getting this far if you are. So to review, again, this part, if you've set up your blog and you're now going to work a little on creating that content. So creating content in 5 simple steps, always, of course, with an objective and a goal in mind. 1, create a new blog post. Write it, run a spell check. At the beginning, ask a trusted circle of friends and family for feedback. And don't be afraid to leave a post for a day or 2 and then go back to it with fresh eyes and edit it, shorten it probably. Then you're going to add images to it, clear, well-lit photos or a video link maybe. And if you're adding links, make sure that they're working. Don't forget to add your categories and tags, meta tags or keywords for your search engine optimizations. And finally, press publish or schedule. And now you've got all this great visual contents. What next? Well, now you've got to start waving your flags again and market your blog. Let people know about your blog on your social media platforms and vice versa, in your newsletters. Add a link to your email signatures or have it advertised at the bottom of all your order confirmations. Add a link to wherever you have your contact details, including those on the back of your catalogs. And of course, by word of mouth, let people know. Say things like, I'm running a blog now. Have you seen my blog? I have a new promotion running on my blog. You must check it out and let me know what you think about it. All the time, advertise. And a last word on social media. Well, you're going to be using this blog as a hub, so connect it to all your social media accounts. Share snippets of your blog posts on all your other social media accounts and guide traffic back and forth to it. Embed links to your blog on your Facebook or Instagram posts, etc., and vice versa. And let your social media visitors and customers know that there's an update. So install those RSS feeds and encourage people to subscribe to your posts. And get people sharing your links and content. And if you do all these great things, you'll be upping all those SEOs and enjoying a steady stream of traffic and hopefully enjoying a very steady stream of good and new business too. And guess what? Yes, that's finally it from me. Now it's your turn. Here's our call to action to you. Actually, it's more of a checklist. I'm calling it a checklist. Research blogs and blogging. Set time aside for it. Pick a blog platform. Set up a blog. Determine how much time you want to invest in this part of your Stampin' Up business. And while you're doing that, set up a brief and simple content planner to keep you on track. Brainstorm that content list. Pledge to be consistent, but commit only to what you think you can sustain realistically. And my favorite, just get started. Pick your first planning day and your first writing and creating day and get going. Try to work on at least the next month and build up to the whole quarter, etc., until you have your schedule posted down to a pat. And with that, I promise you, I have finally reached the end of this webinar. Blogging is a good thing. It's a fun thing, and it's almost a necessary thing. And I do hope we've helped you make a decision and given you some ideas about wanting one. Remember, have fun with it. We wish you all the success in the world with it. And thank you so much for your time and joining me. Over and out.